Hi, welcome to a run through of all the Blu-rays, DVDs and 4Ks that I've watched over the last month. Whole load of crime, science fiction, horror and a whole lot more. First off, Boris Karloff and Christopher Lee in Curse of the Crimson Altar. Really enjoyable film, and this is part of the 88 Films Tigan Films. I love the covers. That was the first thing that attracted me to this set of Blu-rays. Also, it's just a quality Blu-ray throughout. You've got some great extras and the film is really odd. Barbara still turns up, very briefly, but still, it's a very good performance throughout for all of the actors. H.P. Lovecraft and the Curse of the Crimson Altar. I must admit, I didn't really feel that it was H.P. Lovecraft, but apparently that was the source of material. Kim Newman's on it. I love Kim Newman's discussions about various things. This one, Blu-ray, as with all the other ones from Tigan Films, all come with these, which I think is just great. A lovely little booklet, and the booklet's really decent with a lot of information about various, obviously what the actors were doing, why the production was done in a particular way, also alternate titles and those sort of things. But this is a really, really excellent one. And I've noticed they've been currently on sort of cheap price. So hopefully you can pick them up reasonably priced. I picked them up full price, but that's always the way. However, love the sleeve as well. I watched this one last night. This was an excellent Blu-ray, The Sorcerers. Not really certain about the title. There was another title for it. Sorcerers really didn't sort of match it. Basically, they've applied hypnosis to Ian Ogilvy, and I think it was a great performance from him. He doesn't know that he's being controlled. So Boris Karloff, brilliant, absolutely superb, and his wife controlling him from a distance, and he's doing various things. However, it does slightly get out of hand where things slightly go, but also they experience everything, so they get feedback. But it's some great shots of 60s London. I think there's some really odd sort of ones in nightclubs and things that I actually quite liked. I know there's comments here saying it wasn't the best, but I still enjoyed it. Again, got a lot of great extras. Got Kim Newman on there again, though I think it's, yes, audio commentary. Generally, I don't listen to those first time around. I will watch it and listen to the commentary next time around. But it's got Ian Ogilvy. I really enjoyed his chat about the film. It was really fascinating. He's throwing so many things into it. It was actually the joy of watching this thing as well. But the film itself was absolutely great. I really thoroughly enjoyed this. Definitely worth checking out. Again, another 88 Films with this lovely slip case, which I love, and also got a lovely little pamphlet as well inside, which is always definitely recommended. It was the least favourite of the Tigan Films, but it was still really good. 88 Films, brilliant cover. I love the covers. The covers are just great. They really look nice on the shelves as well. Really nice. This one, you know what? I've never noticed that. 1972, it's got there. I suppose the other ones have got that as well. Oh yes, 1967, so you can see that. However, do watch, of course, the TV series. I never watched any of them, so I have no idea about the actors or those sort of things. But apparently the two here, Judy Geeson, etc., and Ian Bannon, they never turned up on the original series. So they just brought in the original cast. Some of them are there, and they're sort of tucked away in very minor roles, but still great to see. I really did enjoy it still. Set in this Cornish village, it was just very strange. So after the water surrounding the remote island of Balf becomes overpopulated. I said it's Cornwall. I'm certain it was Cornwall. They were completely wrong. Don't hold me on that one. However, overpopulated by chemical dumps, some of the inhabitants begin to exhibit extreme behavioural and physical change. So it does get pretty sort of odd with the characters. You can see there some of the characters there. You think people would sort of like, oh, you know what, we must go to a doctor. But of course, no one wants to go to a doctor. It's all very much religious or whatever reasons for not going. Doomwatch, very enjoyable, but out of the three, I think this one was probably the least favourite. A legendary film, Demons. Now, it's a film I have never seen, so it was really great to actually finally watch it, and it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was the best of horror films. They could have done a lot more, but I guess the cinema setting, it was set in a cinema, probably very limited. Certainly I thought it was going to be more like a sort of Dawn of the Dead sort of thing with a shopping centre, but that would have probably been better. But they did it in a cinema, and but unfortunately there was no real explanation why people suddenly would get a little scratch or getting attacked. It was And also some of the characters that changed. I thought, it would have been great if we actually knew a little bit more about them. We didn't really get to know much about the actors before suddenly they turned into a demon. I thought, really? I thought that person would definitely survive a bit longer, but it was very sort of quick turnaround with the actors. I must admit, I like the bike scene. That was just over the top. So Demons, definitely worth checking out. The 4K I went for, it was very, very little difference in price between that and the Blu-ray. And I thought, why not go for the 4K? I doubt if there was much quality difference on the 4K to Blu-ray on my TV anyway. I've got a 43-inch TV, which is reasonable, but I don't think it really shows these sort of 4Ks off to that great extent. If you've got a 65 or a projector or something, I imagine that 4K will be totally amazing. But I've got that. So decent extras, and actually very good extras in many places. I always love the extras, always check them out. Though sometimes I skip certain ones, I will probably go back and look at those as well as the film again. I love this film. This was not my usual sort of film that I would sit and watch, but I thought, you know what? I saw a great review of it. I thought, I must get this. There's the villain on the feet. Doesn't say much. There's no particular rhyme nor reason. Apparently it was escaped from some mental asylum or something. But I don't know. It didn't seem to explain that particularly at all. I certainly didn't. Maybe I fell asleep at that point. Who knows? But starts really odd. You've got the initial part of the film, and then of course and now it comes up later. Obviously I was thinking, this is a bit weird. Lots of characters going all straight away. That is too. But it does go forward in time, and you get this cast, and they were great. I thoroughly enjoyed all of them. I was rooting for all of them. Of course, as always with these films, certain characters, especially ones that you think, you know what, they should survive, and maybe not that person. Well, obviously you want them all to survive. But, of course, they don't. That would be a terrible, wouldn't it, Slumber Party Massacre, if none of them actually... But also, there's other boys that are... But I like to see some of the scenes there were just great. I had to laugh with some of them. It was just brilliant. The extras, fairly limited. I was slightly disappointed. It would have been nice if they had interviews with the cast and things. That would have been great. But this, you just get a Q&A with the director, and also there's an audio commentary with director as well. Again, it would have been nice if there'd been some of the rest of the cast. Weirdly, and I didn't realise at the time, of course, why would I, that it was filmed in South Africa. It was very, very enjoyable, very funny, lots of things happening all the way through it. Definitely a recommended film. Probably my least favourite. The Reaping. This is a DVD. I mean, it was fine. I watched it, enjoyed it. Hilary Swank. It's weird. Basically a biblical curse. Biblical plagues are sent to this town, and it's basically lots and lots of things happen all the way through. And there's certain characters, obviously Hilary Swank. There's also a young girl on the cover here. And that's about it, really. I can't say that I will ever probably watch this again, but still has a decent selection of extras. And if you're interested in horror films like this, I guess this is a great watch. I'm certain lots of people put comments saying, that was one of my favourite films, but it just didn't really do much for me. However, time is running out, as it said. I bought a big box set of DVDs of Alfred Hitchcock, and I will get around to watching them at some point. I have seen a few of his films, but there's lots and lots of films that I've never seen all the way through. They're always sort of ones that you see little clips, like obviously Psycho, the famous scene, and also this, where you can see obviously there on the cover. But to actually watch the entire film, well, I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Really good. This one I bought obviously for £5, Blu-ray. Really sharp, super quality. I love this. Cary Grant is a screen man on the run. And basically, this is the fourth and final teaming with the master of suspense. He plays a Manhattan admin. Obviously, someone confuses him with someone else, and the story of James Mason turns up and loads of other characters. And it's just absolutely great. A non-stop action. I just enjoyed every bit of it. And some really good extras as well on the back there. You can see decent ones there. This is a classic Giallo. I loved it, or Jolly. I absolutely loved it. Klaus Kinski, Double Face. All set in London, 1972. Well, there might be some scenes elsewhere, but it was just brilliant from start to finish. Lots and lots of great scenes of walking through the various streets of London, and he's investigating, trying to find out about Helen, his wife, who's just recently deceased. Of course, there's always a bit of a suspicion that he was the murderer. Well, I'm not certain the police, of course, have got their doubts about him, as we, of course, will have all the way through the film. And I must admit, you probably think, well, it's obvious there's going to be a twist in it. And of course, there's twists. I loved it. Absolutely great. Said here, psychological, psychedelic, and at times plain psychotic. I may even get that word right. And it's just brilliant. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I love box sets, and this one from Arrow is just great. 6 Gothic Tales, Vincent Price in, by Edgar Allan Poe. 4 of the films I've seen before, but they're great. I will watch them at some point. Haven't watched them so far. The ones I've watched, the ones at the bottom, Haunted Palace and The Tomb of Ligeia, I've never seen. So this is The Haunted Palace. Weird way they've done it, because they haven't split there. I think they should have put Tomb of Ligeia on the front as well. Just seems odd. And on the back, there's no mention of Tomb of Ligeia either. But it's also got some special edition contents. The film, thoroughly enjoyable. Both films, actually. I loved The Haunted Palace, which was obviously a H.P. Lovecraft film. Don't know why they called it that. Made very little sense particularly. But still, Charles Dexter Ward, great story. And also brilliant performance from Vincent Price. Though the end was very odd. Didn't make much sense. But that doesn't matter, does it? Tomb of Ligeia, thoroughly enjoyed that as well. Again, does it make much sense? No. But Vincent Price is obsessed about his wife. And of course, Vincent Price, of course, in the other one, is obsessed about getting revenge on the villagers or town folk. Very, very watchable. So this is a great little box set from Arrow. This is an old one, Roddenberry Vault. This is, of course, Star Trek. Never before seen footage. I've only watched 1 episode so far in this. Mirror, Mirror, probably my favourite Star Trek ever. So it was just great to get it. High definition, really, really nice quality. And there's just lots of other great stuff that I am really looking forward to sit down and watch. 12 classic episodes. I didn't know anything about this one. Just noticed it in Keck. I thought, you know what? I am going to get that because, especially since it listed a few of them, City on the Edge of Forever, of course, This Side of Paradise, etc., Trouble with Tribbles, and many others. Some really great, probably for me, the best Star Trek ever. But of course, there has been lots of great Star Treks, Voyager, Enterprise, and many, many others. But probably for me, consistently all the way through the 78 odd episodes, I think there are so many brilliant ones. Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp, but it says Blu-ray and DVD. Unfortunately, he's only just got the DVD. When I opened it up, I thought, oh, where's the Blu-ray gone? Still, the film, I thoroughly enjoyed. It was very weird and wonderful. Typical sort of Helen Bonham Carter, Anne Hathaway, loads of characters in this. I just loved it. So, Alice in Wonderland. I actually just recently also watched on TV the sequel. That was quite decent as well. Though I don't think as good, but obviously everyone will have their opinions on that one. But Alice in Wonderland, I was pleased I saw it. Johnny Depp, I'm not a big fan of, but still, overall, I still like the film. Quantumania. Now, this got not the world's greatest reviews at the time, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Ant-Man and Wasp always amazes me every time I ever think about the films they've done with Ant-Man and Wasp. Back in the day, back in Tales to Astonish, I would never imagine that they would ever do films of that character. Very strange. But they did. And it's great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was also great to see Kang. Now, I thought when I was watching it, why didn't they put Kang in a film with the Avengers? Would have made much more sense. Also, set in the quantum realm, or whatever it's called. It's just one of those places you think, well, I don't think that quantum realm would be in any way. Would have people, all the various creatures. It just wouldn't happen. How would people talk? Anyway, it doesn't matter. You think about it too much. It just wouldn't work. But it still was a very enjoyable film. Really like Kang. Great. And I must admit, thoroughly enjoyed the film. And I look forward to, hopefully, there'll be some more, of course, Ant-Man and Wasp films at some point, hopefully. This one, 4K and Blu-ray. Definitely recommended. The Red Queen Kills 7 Times. I love the titles. Just brilliant. Really, really enjoyed this. Probably one of my favourite giallos I've ever seen. Lots of twists and turns. 2 sisters. 3 sisters. There was just lots of weird stuff. Lots of twists. And it was like the high fashion, gothic locale. Just everything about it was just perfect. Now, I did order this in Blu-ray. Unfortunately, I got the DVD. Picture quality was still fine, though. It wasn't too bad. I'm certain the Blu-ray would have been even more amazing, though I'd love to see this released in 4K. This probably was, I think, probably my favourite I've ever seen. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Gripping horror thriller hybrid. It was really great. And also a great selection of extras. Now, I have no idea if the extras are the same on the Blu-ray. Quite certainly probably are. But yes, another brilliant Arrow. The only criticism of Arrow is the garish, horrible title sequence they have right at the start. Every time it comes on, I'm just, I always have to look away. It's just, but other than that, I love virtually every release I've ever seen from Arrow, except for their title bit right at the start. Oh, too garish, but I guess that works for them. That's obviously what they want. This was thoroughly enjoyable. Sam Neill, always good. Sam Neill's excellent. Lawrence Fishburne, really excellent. And actually all the others were fine as well. Event Horizon. I must admit, the title sort of suggests there's going to be a black hole. Well, of course, there is a black hole involved, but it's not the key thing particularly about it. However, Sam Neill has invented this drive that's obviously going to go off. Pretty daft, but still doesn't matter. Wow, what a great film. A real good horror film. I just loved it. Just that sort of spacecraft, always wandering through all those corridors, going through. I must admit, some of those things I was thinking, you know what, I would not go down those. Some of those passageways, they sort of wander down. I'm thinking, something horrible is going to happen, or something's going to pop up at the end. There's sort of like appearances of various people, and of course, you end up meeting a horrible fate. Absolutely love this. This is a 4K one. Now, the 4K Blu-ray, I think the price was fairly similar. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go for the 4K one. Again, it's got the extra Blu-ray, which I always love because it's a backup. So if there's a problem. And also, I think the extras were actually on the Blu-ray. I guess they have to do that. But it's always sometimes you always think, when I put the 4K on, I was thinking, where's all the extras gone? Now, I remember, it's on the Blu-ray, so I had to quickly go and get that. So didn't watch all of them. I watched a couple of them. Very enjoyable. I love this film. Remember seeing it at the time when it came out, and it was great to see again. And I completely remembered it as soon as I started watching it. I thought, I know what's going to happen, all those sorts of things. But still, I actually enjoyed all the way through. Event Horizon, really high quality picture as well. Really, really great. I love this film. 10th Victim. I'd never heard of it before. This is from Shameless. It's got Ursula Andress. I love that. So apparently that was pretty sharp. Apparently there was lots of cuts and things from that. So yes, not probably. However, of course, the main person in this film is Marcello Mastroianni. Ursula Andress, of course, appears in most of the film as well, but he is the main character, and it's just great. Really weird science fiction film that it was based on a book, Seventh Victim. I don't know why they changed the name. It didn't really make any sense because there wasn't like 10 sort of killings or anything, but they just called it Seventh Victim. I guess they wanted to make it the final bit because the 10th victim was the final part. They could, of course, made the 7th victim the final victim, wouldn't they? Would have made more sense. However, pop art, very odd, humorous visual. It was all set in Rome, which I loved. Some of the scenes in Rome were just great. Some of the places they went, I thought, oh, wow, they were doing all lot of shooting around all these places and things. And you're thinking, I doubt they were, because I think all that sort of Roman architecture had been destroyed. But it was amazing. I just loved it. Absolutely. A big hunt. Though the back says here, a reality TV style game. It wasn't a reality TV show. Though it potentially was because Ursula Andress wanted to film it at the Temple of Venus. And there were some other scenes which they didn't finish. There were certain bits of it that just didn't sort of trailed off. You thought, oh, well, why didn't they do anything more with that? But still, overall, I loved this. It was just really great film. Weird music all the way through it, which I always love. And a selection of decent extras. Of course, Kim Newman again, my favourite. Kim Newman always turns up in these things. Just a theatrical trailer and also a Shameless trailer as well. I really enjoyed the Shameless trailer. Had loads of great films. I thought, oh, you know what? That film looks good. That film looks good. Definitely a load of ones to think I must pick up. Didn't have any additional bits here, but you see here, you got that. And then you got this, which was, I thought, would have loved a booklet. A booklet would have been so much nicer with a bit more details. But still, I like this. But trouble is, it doesn't fit particularly well. How do you put it in here? It sort of makes the actual thing, don't want to throw it away, but still just doesn't really fit in the box. It doesn't, you can't close it because of it. Well, not easily anyway. However, this is a great film. Thoroughly enjoyable. I love this box. Lots of great ones. Gothic Fantastico. I guess that's how you say it. 4 Italian tales of terror from Arrow. Love box sets. Box sets are great. You can see this vast amount of special edition things, lots and lots of extras. Really good. You got Lady Morgan's Vengeance. Loved it. Weird gothic film. I was really surprised for some weird reason that film did not appear in Euro Gothic book, which is one of my favourite books I've ever read about European cinema. I really found lots of great information about that, but it didn't feature that. It didn't mention it. It mentioned a few other things. I think the Blanchfield Hot Monster, I think that might be mentioned, but not that one. Very odd. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What a brilliant film. Now, I haven't watched all the other ones. I've got Third Eye and The Witch. We'll watch those at some point. Don't always watch everything in a box, but these were great. I love that. That was great. Really enjoyable. Blanchfield Monster. And this one, Lady Morgan's Vengeance. What a great film. Very weird. Had vampires in it. It had everything. So all the gothic elements, hypnosis. It was just brilliant. Just wow. I thought, when I started, I thought, maybe not. I'm not going to enjoy this sort of initial bit without horse riding kind of thing. I thought, will I like this film? I don't know. But wow, this one, it says here, made 3 key Italian Gothic titles. So why wasn't it in the the Euro Gothic book? Very odd. Following Terror Creatures from the Grave. What a great title. I haven't seen that one. And Bloody Pit of Horror. But Lady Morgan's Vengeance, last experiment in horror, it was the most subtle and romantic. I'm not saying romantic comes up. Well, there was, I suppose, an element of that. There was a scene, this guy going off on a boat, and I'm not going to spoil what happens, but I just thought, this is odd. Really? No. And then she goes off with her uncle, and then she comes back, and the castle's changed, and this woman, it's just brilliant. Absolutely, really, definitely. Of all the films in this, I love this one. Maybe the others are just as good. I don't know. It's possible. But I wonder if it's available as a separate Blu-ray. Because quite often these ones, you can find a separate thing. Maybe, of course, a Spanish or German or whatever. Quite often I find that there's a title sort of, somewhere else. So definitely a recommended one. But it's also brilliant in this box set. Yes, again, from Arrow. I think, like I say, Arrow bring out some great stuff. Edgar Wallace Blu-ray Edition Volume 1. I think there's 8 volumes in total. I don't know about that. But it's got 3 on it. The only reason I bought it, watched a documentary that mentioned De Hexa. De Hexa was quite confusing to find. I went through loads of DVDs looking at various things. But I came across this and I thought, yes, this is what the set that's just right for me. I haven't watched the others yet. I'm certain they're going to be great. De Hexa was brilliant. Really, really loved it. Black and white, but it was in English. And also there's obviously the German as well. But still, the English version was fine. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to the others as well. Certain they've been absolutely brilliant. But you can see De Hexa there. Great cast as well. And I just thought, wow. You can see there. And you've got, I don't know what that one is. The Hund, the Von Blackwood Castle. And something else. I don't know what the other one is. Probably was the way it goes. The Frosty, or something, mask. I have no idea what that even stands for. Who knows? But I'm certain they're going to be absolutely fine, and I'm looking forward to watching them at some point. It wasn't the cheapest of sets. I think that some of the sets seemed to vary. There was like some at 33, some at, I think it was about £20. I love the red blood there. You always want to scrape that off. But the Hexa was really great, really worth watching. The Plague of Zombies. Absolutely brilliant. I love this format. They've gone for this format, and I've got one here. I'm just going to... Reptiles, very similar. I just love this style of doing it. I think it's nice when you get all of the various Hammer films in this style. I thoroughly enjoyed the film. The film was brilliant. Completely silly, completely daft. In a Cornish village, the doctor goes there, and there's a few problems in place. He also calls for his fellow doctor to come along. And, of course, Andre Morel, that was his name, wasn't it? Andre Morel. I thought his performance was absolutely brilliant as well. But all of it was superb. Lots of zombies. The story was really like Scooby-Doo, a bit daft with the squire and all that sort of thing, and zombies. It says at the back, flesh-eating zombies. Really? There was no flesh-eating at all. They were pretty scary. I must admit, you wouldn't want to bump into one in the dark. However, there was just one classic scene. I'm certain everyone's seen it, the famous one where Andre Morel shouts out, "Zombie!" And it's got a famous character from a certain series. It was just absolutely... Also, the extras were really good as well. I thoroughly enjoyed all the recollections. The World of Hammer, Mummies, Werewolves and the Living Dead. It'd be nice if they brought the whole lot of those. Maybe they are. I don't know. And also a brand new documentary, Raising the Dead. And also a restoration comparison, which wasn't the best. I would have preferred a bit more of a chat about it instead of just showing examples, showing the odds, sort of going over and backwards and forwards. Didn't find that as useful to actually learn much about the restoration. But still, he's looking pretty worse for wear, isn't he, that zombie there? I think he was the main zombie, perhaps. But there's the rest of the cast. I loved it. Really, really good. Thoroughly laughed my head off with that film. The Reptile, another Hammer film and done in a similar style. This one, of course, got Blu-ray and DVD as well. Was it as good? No, not as good as Plague of the Zombies, but I still enjoyed it. You can see, obviously, the reptile there. Really not used that much, really, considering that, they should have done a bit more with the reptile. But I thought the cast was great. Michael Ripper was superb as ever. I always love his performances. I think it's great. And also, Jacqueline Pearce is in it again. And also, a deadly epidemic is spreading to his remote Cornish village. And the trail of macabre intrigue that leads him to the sinister Dr. Franklin, his strange but beautiful daughter, and a truly horrific family secret. And it certainly is. Released in 1966, Hammer horror at its most nightmarish. I'm not certain I'd go as far as that, but I thought it was great. I still enjoyed it. But yes, Plague of the Zombies wins out for me, definitely. The Reptile. Them, a film I've never ever seen. I thought, you know what? I must get this. And it was part of HMV 2 for £15. I thought, why not? Lots of the ones, the Hammer ones, were part of the same series. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to get that. It was pretty good. I don't think it was anything as... but they always put that on the cover, don't they, to make it look more dramatic. But still, a landmark movie about giant radiated, mutated ants gets better with age and boasts, blah, blah, blah. James Whitmore, James Arness, Edmund Gwenn, and many others. It was a great film. Would I say it's a masterpiece? No, perhaps not. But set in New Mexico, and then it moves, obviously because of problems, it moves to Los Angeles. So it's great. Lots of, obviously, the whole place goes under military martial law. And also there's that famous Los Angeles drain as well. That was great. Thoroughly enjoyable. Classic, perhaps not for me, but still, I did enjoy it. The extras, disappointing. Special features in the back. You got behind the scenes archive footage and the montage designs, how they did it, the design. I just thought, no, it wasn't that great. I think they could have put a few more extras on. But still, worth watching. Them. I love this. Wacky Races, the complete series. Now, I haven't watched all of them. 34 episodes. They're all very similar anyway. But I will be definitely dipping into these. There's 3 discs in this. Really great. Absolutely lovely. Innocent fun. And also there's quite a few of the others ones as well. You of course got the Flintstones, Scooby-Doo. You got Boss Cat / Top Cat. You got many, many others. Yet to get the Jetsons. Really loved the Jetsons. Loved watching that when it was on many, many years ago. I would love to see these in Blu-ray. Unfortunately, they're only available on DVD. I'm not certain why but there's lots of these sort of series. I've got piles and piles of different DVDs. You think, why? Oh, why isn't that available on a Blu-ray disc? Now, recently I got the Lost in Space on Blu-ray. Brilliant. So much better than the DVD. I would imagine, same with Wacky Races. The quality of this was fine, the first episode I watched, but it was not as good. I'm certain it could be a lot sharper, hopefully. So hopefully, if they ever do, please bring out a Blu-ray of the Wacky Races. But I loved it. The Happening. Not a film that I was particularly familiar with. Extended cut. Too shocking for the cinema. I didn't watch it at the cinema. Never heard of it. Still, really enjoyed it. This one was £3 in Keck. Always just great. Quite often I go through Keck and think, you know what, I'm going to watch that tonight, or I'm going to probably watch it in a couple of days' time. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. Mark Wahlberg was in it. Pretty decent. I'm not a mega fan of him, but still very likeable. And also all the other cast, absolutely great. It also got a few featurettes as well. Not a vast amount. Very odd premise for the whole thing. And at some points you think, oh, you know what, I think I know what's actually causing it. And then, of course, you find out what's happening. Of course, if it did actually happen like that, I think it would be pretty bad. I don't think anyone particularly would survive. But still, of course, Mark Wahlberg would, wouldn't he? But love the film. Sean Connery in Outland. Thoroughly enjoyed this film. Saw it when it came out. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, it's very, very dark. Lots and lots of wandering around, lots of corridors. There's not many characters particularly in it other than Sean Connery. There's a few very good characters like the Doctor. She's great. And also there's the guy who's running the whole operation. And there's a few other characters, obviously, who are helping him and also hindering him, I think, in the police department. It was great. Thoroughly enjoyed it. This is in, of course, German text here, but the film itself was in English, which is great because I will never be able to understand it if it was in German. I often do that. Go and get the film because you find that the UK copy is quite expensive, Blu-ray, for some weird reason. So I look and check that I can actually see an English version, the English language version, on this German disc or Spanish or whatever. And this was just one of those. Very, very good film. Well, that's it. A run through of all the various films that I've been watching. I haven't watched much else on any other service, on the terrestrial or on streaming, all those sorts of things. Mainly been sticking to Blu-ray. So Blu-ray films and 4K films, of course, as well. Thoroughly enjoyed most of them. Not everyone a classic, and probably some I'd probably never watch again. Well, anything in there that you thought, you know what, I must pick that up? Anything you've seen before, you thought, you know what, that film was great, or that film was terrible, please put in the comments. I mean, it's quite possible everyone says, wow, why do you like that sort of rubbish? Sometimes actually when you watch them again, you think, why did I enjoy that? Or sometimes the other way around, you think, oh, you know what, I did enjoy that. So hopefully there was something of interest. Have you watched anything good? Have you picked up anything that you think, you know what, it's just coming out? I am really, really looking forward to that. As always, I've got a list for myself. I've got loads of pre-order ones. Don't always get all the ones that I pre-order. Sometimes I look at them again thinking, you know what, maybe I've ordered a few too many, because sometimes you can. I bought some more today down in Keck. I love Keck. Always pop into Keck. They've got some great, brilliant science fiction ones at the moment. And I thought, you know what, I must get those. So they're possibly to be watched tonight. Still, other than that, hope you found this of interest. Bye.